today, these brownfield cities range from any of the state capitals to heritage towns to specific cities where there is a lot of economic activity and vibrancy, which don't fall under any of these categories, but they actually contribute to a lot of GDP for the country. So they are identified amongst those also. And few of them will be identified through some a challenge, a city challenge model, which will be decided, and first draft parameters will be uploaded on the MOUD site very soon. But about 10-15 odd cities will come from that. But having said that, brownfield development and challenges and how we will look at the planning part of it, it's a totally different area, a totally different line of thought altogether, because one school of thought says that it's a point-based, let's look at prioritize the problem and then look at it, and second is let us look at a 2030 or 2050 kind of model and do a brownfield city expansion. Now, in our view, we actually are looking at something which is an integration of both, a greenfield and a brownfield. Now, here is I want to leave a thought to everyone. If you have been to Delhi about 35, 36 years back, I am 100% sure you would have seen forest area starting in Delhi beyond the Saket kind of a region. Whereas if you see today, the Delhi NCR goes beyond Gurgaon. So in 30 odd years, we can very easily say that Delhi own population, infrastructure development, residential, commercial, transportation network has gone beyond almost like a 40-50 kilometer radius. That's how a city is getting. So if you are looking at a greenfield as a separate entity and a brownfield as a separate entity, without trying to merge these two together today, we are again going back to the same. We're trying to retrofit and improve the infrastructure of a brownfield, trying to do a greenfield mapping, but there is no connectivity. So Gurgaon became a vibrant place once the NH8 construction happened. The transportation logistics is a big important aspect. Similarly to that, so I'm looking at how we can actually look at the greenfield area beyond Gurgaon or other places, or even from the Sonipat side or from the Faridabad extension side or the greater Ghaziabad or even the greater Noida side. All those things can be planned and integrated along with that. Now, for that is something what we are calling it as a white field integrated into the green and the brown field part. So that's, I'm looking at that as a separate discussion which is going on. Finally is the point solution. There are going to be about 500 cities which will go through urban regeneration, which is nothing but the water, sewage, waste management, sewerage management, improvement of the infrastructure. Now again, you cannot improve the infrastructure of a city, especially in these three areas, without doing a proper planning and effectively GIS mapping. In fact, Mark, I'm going to actually pick your brain on your subsurface model, and this is because it's something which I think Indian cities would require, because we don't know where our pipelines are. As soon as I have a tool which can actually tell me where the pipelines are, it's a planning becomes a very effective at a later stage. So technology, GIS mapping on top of or as an infrastructure will be very useful. And we finally have the last component, which is the redevelopment projects. The redevelopment projects are the ones where the existing infrastructure, existing cities, there are blocks and columns which are being redeveloped. The best case in example is the new Motibag region or the new Kidwai Nagar region, which has been redeveloped. So it's a block of government houses complex which was raised down, people were moved and reconstructed in a smart township. Now, is that possible in every city? May or may not be, but most of the cities, if you see it, because as I gave the example of Delhi, which moved from a small to a big, when you have a small city, you usually keep your waste management area, which is the dumping yard, say about 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers outside of the city. Now, suddenly you will see that after 30 years, that entire dump yard is in the middle of the city. So the technologies will help you to move those waste management area or the waste and implement a waste to energy kind of a model. Take it outside of the city or compress that. But what will happen to that wasteland? What is going to happen with the dumping yard is very important question which is going to be answered in the redevelopment projects. So there is huge amount of land in Okla which is for which is a dumping yard. Middle of Bangalore in RT Nagar, a Sikh PSU owns a huge amount of infrastructure running into hundreds of acres. Those are actually going to unlock the potential of development, and I would suggest that people are sitting here on the on various type of GIS technologies and modeling. I think you need to guide the city administrators to look at those pieces of quick wins rather than looking at the whole city development, which will take, which is a good part, but it will take a long time. And a brownfield, which is a complex because it's a more of a policy, regulation, and a lot of other things. But these are gems which are lying somewhere in between, can be easily done. So those redevelopment projects, I would urge everyone, if there is models on developing those, identifying those, the master planning, those are the ones we should look forward. With that, very thought, while I was actually putting down this figure, we keep on hearing so many different definitions of a smart city. So which part of the smart city, what, and all this stuff. So we just kept as our thought of point of view that what is smartness? It's a journey for real. You can't be actually a smart in a day or even in 10 years. But what do you are actually looking at? I'm looking at low thefts. I'm not looking at something which is like I will travel between point A to point B, and my planning and my master plan says that in 10 years down the line I'll be able to cover a 20 kilometer in 30 minutes. It's not possible. Rather, the master planning should tell me that my queue time to get any kind of a public transportation should be 5 minutes. Because today I am willing to travel 30 kilometers in 5 minutes or 30 minutes, but tomorrow the distances will increase because your cities are growing. So the planning that you need to do is far different for a future city than today's city. So if you're looking at a point solution, there's no question. You need to look at a point-to-point travel time. But if you're looking at a future city, you need to look at the modes of operation, the different types of transportation that you'll give. So those are the things. I'm not going to go through all points in the slide, but we are saying that what could be the smartness that we are looking at in this. And these are not the MOUD statements or this is PwC's point of view, that these are the ones which we say that the point of view of how do we define a smartness.